For the DIY project today, we will be creating what I'm calling the flower garden wheel. Our next step would be to work with the hangers, the pocket hangers. Do that with the white chalk paint. So that's what we'll do first is we'll paint those hangers. Okay, since the wall pocket hangers have dried from the chalk paint, it's time to give each of them texture. So we'll start with the caulk, and we're going to put patterns, a different pattern on each one of these. Okay, so now we will continue to give the wall pocket hanger texture, but a different kind. Let's see. Okay, we'll put this one aside next to the other one and get started on our last pocket hanger with texture. And this time we will be using lightweight spackling and something to mix it in, and I'm using a plastic knife. Alright, then you want to grab some and just start putting it on. You want to include the bottom. Don't forget the bottom and the top, the rim of it. And right now, you just want to get it on there. Okay, so now that all three are thoroughly dry, it's time to paint. Scrub sponge is at Dollar Tree, and what I do is I get it and I cut like a fourth of it off. And this is what I will paint with. And the reason I choose this is because of the way it looks, the sponge looks. Use honey brown as my color, and I'm using a bowl because it's easier to dip the sponge. That one is done. Now we'll move on to this one, and we'll continue doing what we were doing. Okay, we'll do a different type of paint design for this one. And what we'll do is use some chalk paint and honey brown and stir it. We have that, and we will also use more of this honey brown without being mixed with anything. So what we'll do first, we're going to do one side with the mixed color and the other side with the plain color. Okay, so now we want to take some of the honey brown and the right at the tips, the peaks, you want to just lightly paint the peaks, the tips of the mixed colored peaks with the honey brown. Okay, so this is what it looks like when you're finished. And you want to take a brush this time using the mixed color and take those that you've already done and just lightly on this pattern here, just lightly tap it so that it'll just paint the raised areas. You don't want to be too heavy-handed with this, but just lightly brush it across, and it'll pick up all of the raised areas. And while I'm doing that, I'll do the same thing. Let's try. I'll do the same thing to this one. I'll just lightly tap it so that it will only paint the raised portion of the lines. Okay, so now that the wall pocket hangers are all prepped and dried and ready to go, now it's time to start forming the flower garden wheel. So you'll need the bicycle wheel wreath ring, say that 3 times really fast, and some zip ties and glue gun, of course, the pocket hangers, and I have E6000 just for reinforcement. I'm not sure if I'll use it or not, but we shall see. So we'll go ahead and get started. So you're going to we're going to secure it with 2 zip ties to the wheel. So we want one on each side of this spoke right here. We want to have one on each side. So let's start with one. And this thing that you use to close the zip tie, you want it turned on the inside of the pot, not in the back, because it could scratch your door. Stick it through the front of it, and then zip it closed, but not all the way yet, because what we'll do is we'll take the second one and we'll do the same thing, but on the opposite side of the spoke. So this was on the right side, this one will be on the opposite side of it. And we're gonna zip it as well. Pull them both tight, and remember to pull it down in the center, inside. Put gobs of glue on it to help secure it in place. Okay, so this one is done, and I decided to put glue on each side of it, and it's very secure. It's not going anywhere, and that's what I wanted. So That's what it should look like at the top. And now it's time to move on to the next one. And remember, we're gonna skip one of the spokes and go to the next one and do the same thing. Except remember, you want it up, so you don't want the pot to be this way. You want to bring it this way because the wheel will be coming down, so you want it to be placed in this direction on your wheel. So here's what your wheel should look like after you've secured all of the wall pocket hangers on them. Put felt on the back to cover it. This is a size 2" by 3.5" and you could just glue that down and do that to all of them. So now it's time to prepare the hangers for the flowers to be placed inside. So I have this floral foam that I picked up from Dollar Tree, and what you want to do is take the foam and you want to split it this way and then split it this way. So you should get 4 pieces out of this floral foam. Okay, so because I have 6 of the hangers, I had to, of course, get split 2 of the floral foams. So what you want to do is take your glue gun and inside of the hanger, just squirt the glue down to the bottom, across the bottom of it. Okay, and then force the, holding on to the hanger, you want to force the piece of foam down in there. And just until it's secure in the bottom. Here's the Spanish moss that we'll be placing around the edges, front edges of the flower pot, the flower hanger. Really does go a long way when you're filling that small pocket hanger. And then the front side, just behind the front of the hanger, inside, you want to put the glue up against that because that's where you'll be stuffing the Spanish moss. So I decided to add felt to the back of my flower garden wheel hangers, and this is what it looks like. To add the finishing touches to the flower garden wheel that I just made, I cut some jute rope and tied it in knots on both ends on the 2 spokes that are outside of the hanger, and that's